Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by Eugene S. Robinson, author of Fight, Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Ass Kicking, but We're Afraid You Get Your Ass Kicked for Asking. Huh?
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's very good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And we are here for the Care Don't Care preview for UFC 189 and the Ultimate Fighter American Top Team versus the Black Zillions, I believe is what they're calling the show. That's on Saturday. Plus a mention of Invicta 13 featuring Cyborg versus some chick.
Yeah.
Faith Van Duen.
And it's all some chick until it's Ronda. So
that's right.
And we were going to make a mention about Coach Leopoldo Dream Crusher Serral's upcoming pro MMA fight, but he hasn't actually signed the contract yet, so it's secret.
We'll keep it under our hats.
I've hired myself on as his head coach because I've got real good advice to help a fighter's head get in the right place, like, you know, a stitch in time saves sheep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You can't go wrong with
you can't go wrong with that, man. It's like when the ice is thin, the dawn is the darkest.
I love the missed platitudes. That's
you mean the malapropisms?
Malapropism. Well, but they're also platitudes. They're not. You're screwing.
I would say aphorism.
Mixed aphorisms. How about that?
Checkmate, sir.
All right, give us a disclaimer, please.
For you crybabies and bedwetters, you need to know that this is not a statement about your personal skills and abilities, but more a précis of how exactly the UFC has failed you by not putting marketing might and heft behind your fight. So fight a fight that's interesting. You can and will move from the don't care to the care column, but until that time, you get glossed with don't care. Don't come crying to us.
And what was that big word you used? Précis?
Précis.
What's that mean?
Precis. I'll tell you like I tell my kids. Look it up.
I see. Précis. I see. I heard précis, and I've seen that word. I've never heard it spoken. So first up, Thursday night, Invicta 13, Cyborg versus Faith Van Duen, or as I so happily name her, some chick. Do we care?
Yes, we care.
Because,
you know, when I'm sitting playing my fantasy MMA league, you know, I'm starting to think certain things. And some of the things I'm thinking are like, does a diminished Cyborg come closer to getting the Ronda fight or not? Could she effectively gaslight them into booking that fight sooner if she seems not as devastating as possible, or does that diminish a future engagement? I'm not talking about what actually happens. I'm talking about pencil, paper, future blue sky projections. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. If she goes in diminished, you know, I think largely that nobody's going to be fooled. In which case, you know, this is a sacrificial place-holding fight. I don't think Cyborg will snooze through it because until...
And we're freezing. Were
to lose, would start smelling strange things.
I see. Well, what if nobody sees said fight, so it doesn't really matter?
What if what? Say it again.
What if nobody sees the fight? So, you know, I mean, how many people are going to be watching that fight?
It doesn't matter whether you see it or not. This is the terrible thing about music. If you go up to somebody, I could do it with you right now, and I could say, "Hey, man, do you remember the Zero Boys?"
I do remember the Zero Boys, I believe.
Have you ever seen the Zero Boys?
No, I've never seen the Zero Boys.
Have you ever owned a Zero Boys record?
No, I have not.
However, if I asked you where the Zero Boys are from, would you know where they're from?
Midwest?
Yeah, you're coming close. Kansas, exactly.
Kansas?
So I think Kansas or Indianapolis. I think when I met them, they were living in Lawrence, Kansas, but I think they were maybe from Indianapolis. So the thing is, we know music, and we know enough to start categorizing stuff and putting placeholders. I can't name for you a single Zero Boys record, but I know a lot about the Zero Boys. it's the same thing. You won't have to see this fight, but Monday morning, I guarantee you, everybody will know the results of it.
I see. So she needs to win, but be somewhat underwhelming to lower Ronda's guard. Is that the game plan?
I don't think anybody's going to be snowed at this point. So I think she's just, I don't know. I think she's just kind of placeholdering it until she can get down to a comfortable weight. I don't think she's going to effectively kind of like, I'm not so, maybe I'm slipping. I don't think that'll be the narrative on Monday morning. I don't think so.
I see. So you're picking Cyborg to win?
Yes, I am.
Okay, me too. And I care, but only because of the big fight coming down the way. And the rest of the card, Tanya Evanser's on it, but I don't really care about any of the rest of it. So we're going to skip. We're going to do this reverse chronological, though, and start with Sunday's card, the Ultimate Fighter
Sunday!
Indeed.
At Raceway Park. Sorry. Yeah,
have you seen all the NASCAR drivers that are abandoning the Confederate flag, and like Jeff Gordon put the rainbow flag on his car?
No.
And heads are exploding.
Yep. You know what? This whole anti-gay thing in America has been the most ridiculous fucking thing ever, because I can't think of a single family that doesn't have somebody gay in it.
Well, it's whether they've responded appropriately with beatings and savage ostracism, or if they've changed their entire moral compass to love their family member.
I wonder. I mean, I had a next door neighbor guy when I was growing up whose father thought he would beat the gay out of him. It didn't really work.
It didn't work? Was Dad down at the bus stop blowing dicks every weekend? Or
I don't know what Dad was doing, but you know what? It forced a counter reaction that was so bad. My friend's name was Billy. That the last time I saw Billy, he had overcorrected the other way, and I think was engaging in unsafe practices, which might have at this point shortened his life.
That inculcating self-hatred in your kid. Not a good recipe for.
No, that was a drag. That's when you live in New York and you've got connected houses. I would hear him chase that kid up and down the fucking hall. And, I mean, I'm not talking about for 5 minutes, man. I'm talking about 35 minutes. I'd hear the back and forth and back and forth. You think you're a man? You think you're a man? You know what? I always knew when I was a kid, I said, you know what? If anybody screws with me as a kid, when I get older, I'm going to get them.
Someday.
Thankfully, there have been very few who did that, but I got a long memory. So
I see. I don't think I have any childhood grudges I need to address. I addressed most of them in my teen years.
That's good. Yeah, it's a satisfying feeling, man.
It is. There's still some rednecks from back home I'm terrified of. I blocked one on Facebook just the other day. So he never really crossed me, but I just saw him in action. Was like, I don't want any of that.
Well, sometimes things normalize themselves, and sometimes guys who were bad back then are super bad now. That you really have to decide: do I want to address this, or just move on?
I've just moved on. I've left it all behind. But let's move on to the Ultimate Fighter card. This whole thing is on FS1, although Wikipedia is not.
FS1 square root of -2 XR3TZ. Got it.
Yeah, it doesn't even the Wikipedia page isn't even giving me the breakdown between the prelims and the main card. So I don't know, Jack. Well, we're just going to run through the whole thing. You got 10 fights here, starting with welterweights George Sullivan and Dominic Waters.
Do not give a fuck.
Me neither. Featherweight Mike De La Torre and Maximo Blanco.
I'm sort of interested. I care.
I care too, because Maximo Blanco, he's like, I can't quit you, man. I mean, he's like, there was hype. There's a lot of athleticism. I
can't quit you, baby.
There's some really bad fight IQ.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do. A propensity to foul.
Yeah. So do you have a pick?
Oh, Blanco, all the way. Okay. But he could fuck it up in any number of ways.
Well, and sometimes that guy, a guy like that, is the guy you want to watch. I mean, I don't know how he's going to I don't know how he's going to blow it. But what was it? I always knew you would fail, but never quite so spectacularly. Yeah.
Exactly. Although sometimes he can win spectacularly. So, I think they need to be feeding him Japanese guys again, but we'll see.
Maxie White.
Yeah, Maxie White. So flyweights, Daryl Montague and Willie Gates.
No, I don't care.
No, me neither. Bantamweights, Russell Doane and Jared Sanders.
I don't care.
Doane's headache medicine?
No, I remember Doan, but I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Women's strawweight: Michelle Watterson and Angela Magana.
I don't care.
I don't either. Welterweight: George Masvidal, Gamebred versus Mutante Cesar Ferreira.
You know I care.
I know. And are you going to pick your homeboy?
I of course am. I'm running the card on Masvidal, a guy who fought Gil to what I thought was close as possible, or Giblert as he is now called, who fought Giblert and to what I thought was arguably, it was a split decision for Giblert. But
You can't give people a split decision. You can either say they won or they lost, and then two judges disagree with you. So,
right. So and then with purportedly a broken hand that he said nothing about. I thought that the guy, till I die, I'm on that Masvidal train.
I see. Speaking of Giblert, what do you make of his drug test failure? He hasn't said so explicitly, but it looks like he's going to claim the old dirty supplements. I didn't know they were tainted.
It seemed to be that. It seemed to be going down that way.
We call that the Sean Shirk.
You're right. I thought that the wording was interesting and clever. He's like, I did not inject anything.
No injections.
So, which is actually, if you know the steroid world, you're better off injecting than you are taking pills. It has the first pass. You take a pill, your liver attempts to metabolize it all at once, whereas, you get multiple passes if you inject it because it's in your bloodstream. So it's technically actually better for your liver to inject, but guys are scared of needles, and it just seems more drug usery, than taking a pill.
Cheatery.
And I'm convinced that pills don't work anyway. So
I see. And yet it worked well enough for him to fail a drug test.
It worked well enough for him to have metabolites in his system to fuck up the drug test, yes.
Yes. Remember Sean Shirk in the preview before his title fight when he got busted against Hermes Franca, in which said Hermes Franca also got busted, and Shirk had like 2 handfuls of supplements. This is what I take every day. And then he was like shocked when he failed the drug test. So
yeah. Well, you know what? These guys are actually legitimately correct. They did. Somebody had done a test of stuff that they pulled off the shelf at GNC. These purported testosterone boosters, and some of these testosterone boosters actually had testosterone in them. So there is a legitimate possibility.
The stuff's completely unregulated.
Correct.
That market it's a free for all. Luke Thomas one time, back when Alistair Overeem was his favorite fighter before he started hating on the Reem, he got some supplement at GNC, and he said, "Man, I know this shit is working because my hair is tingling." He was like, "This is roids," and he was thrilled. So well, but the thing is, I would rather get my shit from some dark alley or some pharmacy in Mexico or some online from Russia, because then at least I'm in the ballpark in terms of dosages. When it comes mixed in some freaking powder, you got no idea what's going on. No. It could be bird poop.
Yep.
So, you just don't know. So we care about that fight, and you're picking Masvidal, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I think I think his limitations are all psychological.
Correct, and or he's gotten the bad luck of the draw sometimes. I think he looks so relaxed in the fight. Like I won my championship, the gold I took at the Worlds. I think that was won in the last frame by my over-the-top aggression.
I thought it was silver.
No. I took. Remember, there was the one where the guy came up to me and said that he was pissing blood from the weight loss. If I didn't mind too much, he wouldn't fight me, and I was like, fine. So he took third, and I beat the guy for second place, and I took. I thought
that the one match.
I got pictures.
I thought it went to a tie, and they ruled it a loss for you at the end.
Yes, I did two. One, it was 0-0, and the guy was punching me in the face. It was more aggressive at the end. The other, I was more aggressive at the end and won.
You learned from your mistakes. All right.
No. The one that I won first place came before the one where the other guy out-aggression me.
The fabled backwards progress.
Yes, also called regress.
Yes, fancy. This is what you get, kids, from an Ivy League of the West Coast education there at Stanford.
That only took me 15 years to pay off.
Yeah,
Thanks to President Reagan.
so many good things thanks to President Reagan. And which makes me think of Cosby. What do you think about Cosby admitting under oath that he gave girls Quaaludes?
Well, I'm no Cosby apologist or even a Cosby fan, but I'd be very surprised if the next thing you hear from Cosby's camp is that what you people don't realize is that this was a recreational drug in the 70s. You know, I had it on.
This instance, I believe, was happening in the 1990s. Oh. This was from a 2005 deposition.
Nah, nobody had Quaaludes in fucking the 1990s.
They did. They had a whole article on where could Cosby have been getting Quaaludes because they were banned from production in the 80s. They still make them in Mexico, and some 90% of them are believed to be misused recreationally.
Well, in any case, I imagine his defense, if he's paying these guys right, is going to be, what you people don't realize is this is a recreational drug.
Don't you think he's to the point where he just needs to just say, give it up, we lost?
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep playing it till the very last fucking straw because clearly at the age of 77 or wherever the fuck he is, he's addicted to, you know, the public acclaim. He could easily just fuck off and go, you know what, I'll see you guys later. I got a mansion and a yacht. I'm going to get into some sport fishing. You guys write whatever the fuck you want. He's still climbing up on stages doing what he's going to do. So I think the defense would be, it's recreational. I had it on hand, like you might have a joint or Coke or wine. If somebody wanted to drink it, there's nothing saying that I forced him to take it or snuck it to him. That's not what I was admitting to. If I were him, that's what I'd be saying.
The playmates who are turning on Hugh Hefner are saying that he was extolling Quaaludes as the only reason for Quaaludes is to get women in the mood for sex. Maybe that was true for Hef.
You know what? I don't know if people have seen people on Quaaludes, but I'm not really wanting to fuck somebody who's on Quaaludes.
That's the thing my wife and I were talking about in the car with Bill Cosby. A lot of these women presumably were open to the concept of having sex with the great cause, and he seemingly preferred to dead fish him. So what is that about? Is that he's embarrassed of his performance, or he's into something sick he doesn't want them to know about, or he just likes the cold dead?
No, I think it's the pee-pee issue.
The pee-pee?
Yeah, tiny pee-pee.
I see. It always comes back to that.
It always does, man. It always. Let's look at World War II, you know.
You're going to blame small penises. Weren't you blaming PTSD for World War II a while back?
PTSD as well. Joy Behar came out and said the men with the smallest, men with the smallest
27 minutes into the show before the Nazis came up. But anyway, go ahead.
Men with the smallest penises were German and Japanese men.
German men, small penises.
2/3 of the Axis power.
And my family always blamed
the Italians made very bad fascists.
Because they were so well hung. That's your argument.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously, academic. If you're an academic and you're listening to this, if this is your thesis, nobody has touched this. And I guarantee you it's a root cause. They don't call it the rape of Nanking for nothing, you know.
I see. Well,
and Nazi propaganda always had some weird sexual cast to it, you know, with the Jew as the penis plunderer, you know.
Interesting theory. Well, how do you explain the American genocide of the American Indian, or the slavery of the African American? I mean, didn't white Americans indulge in? Are you going to blame penis size on that too?
In the case of African Americans, you most certainly could.
Well, that's a psychological subtext of our entire history.
What was it that War Machine said in his letters from down under? There is not a white man in America who is excited about the prospect of his sister, mother, daughter having sex with a black guy. Why would that be? Presumably, these would be voluntary linkages. It's a pee-pee issue.
I see. I missed War Machine's whole insight onto race relations.
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised that he thought that this would somehow endear him to his cellmates.
Well, War Machine, who can, the ways of War Machine are mysterious and dark. But, anyway, so let's move along. Now we've got the TBA versus TBA. That's to be announced. That's the welterweight finales.
Man, I care about that. TBA is just great.
It's exciting.
I'd like to see him in his matchup against TBD.
I got to go with TBD over TBA myself.
Oh yeah, okay. That's where we differ.
I see you're a TBA man, huh?
Yeah.
The Ultimate Fighter American Top Team versus Black Zillions doesn't even have a Wikipedia page I can find.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. So, Sorrel, before you leave, American Top Team versus Black Zillions. Who wins it? He says he hopes it's American Top Team because he's a dreamer.
I see. I thought he was a Dream Crusher.
Yeah, he is that too. He's trying to get me to side up with American Top Team so that when they lose, then I feel horrible.
I see.
He says he hopes it. Now it's hope.
I told you I hope.
Now he says he hopes.
Hopes. Okay, let's see. Now I think I see getting closer to the tournament. No, I have no idea. It doesn't even. I can't even read. Okay, it does have a Wikipedia page, but I can't make heads or tails out of it. Now we're to the headliner. This was supposed to be on the UFC 189 card. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jake Ellenberger.
I care.
I definitely care. Who do you pick?
The guy I'm supposed to be interviewing a guy, Torin. I think his name is Torin Hill, who's been training Jake Ellenberger to get some insight as to what Ellenberger's doing that's different or somehow. But the guy just came into my sphere like yesterday. I'm supposed.
Are you going to ask him if he's a bully in the gym?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll ask him that. You know?
That's the word on Ellenberger, that he's a front runner and a bully in the gym. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Write that down.
All right, I am writing it down actually.
That doesn't often happen where my wisdom is immediately penciled down by an eager acolyte. So
I care.
Yes, I too care. And what about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? Karate.
Yeah, I know. I think about this. I don't know, man. It's a tough pick. It's a tough pick for me. You know. I mean, mostly because I'm feeling like I can't trust Ellenberger anymore. So, of course, this will probably imperil my possible interview with Torin Hill. But you know,
well, is he going to get this far into the show?
He never will. So. Yeah. Except one of you enterprising people will do that shit where you send it to him and go, "Oh, look at 3304. Look what he said."
Yeah. And then tag Dana White and tweet usually.
The bald one, yes. Yeah.
Yes, as if. Like, you know, Dana would have me in the trunk of a car in the Vegas desert if he had, you know, so, but so far I'm on top.
So would I. So would I if I had a car. No, I'm kidding. I got a car.
If I had a squad of hitmen. So anyway, but yeah, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on a 4-fight win streak. Wrestlers would seem to be his kryptonite, but so far he hasn't really fought any. Nashawn Burrell is the closest. I guess he fought Matt Brown, who's not really a wrestler at all.
All right, how about this? I'm going to take a fly here. I'm going to pick Mr. Wonderboy.
You're picking Wonderboy.
Why not? Why just
go against
I'm not putting any money. This is not. I'm not going to be crowing about this if he wins. If he, I just want to see some action.
Did you just say you weren't going to crow if he wins?
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Don't make promises you can't keep. That's
I'm not going to do that. Who gives a shit? I mean, I care, but I just, you know, I don't. It's mostly I want to register that I don't trust Ellenberger.
I see. Well, I don't quite trust. I think I think Stephen Thompson is more trustworthy than Ellenberger. I think he's gritty, but he's got some stylistic holes that if Ellenberger fights smart, that Ellenberger could just take him down and pound him out. But
yep.
That is. But now we're going to go back in time to Saturday night, UFC 189, the most promoted UFC in the promotion's history, and they lose half their main event. I did an informal poll of the MMA fan that coaches my kids' sport ball camp, and he said it makes a big difference that they lost Aldo. How are you feeling?
Well, if you watched Knuckle Up this week,
of course,
you would know that that I have very mixed feelings about it. For me, it's like the whole princess. Any conspiracy talk is like the Princess Bride thing. You know, if I drink that cup, I suspect you would have put poison in that cup. I suspected that you would suspect that. So how do you know I didn't put poison in my cup, hoping you would switch to my cup? Well, because I suspected that you suspected that I would suspect. So this is the thing. You know, follow the money if you want to get to the bottom of this. How does this wash out? How does this is the fight going to be is a crooked run to the eventual Aldo McGregor fight going to build a more interesting fight. This is full of peril for McGregor. If McGregor doesn't make it past Mendes,
it's all over.
It's all over, right?
And it costs Aldo a fortune.
Huh?
And it's going to cost Aldo a fortune.
It may cost, if McGregor loses. But how much did it cost? How much did it cost John Jones to?
I think the rental car rates in Santa Fe is surprisingly reasonable.
The John Jones Rumble matchup, right, which was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Did that cost him anything?
Well, yeah. The whole payday and then plus the rental car and the cocaine and the condoms. So.
Well, in the long run, though,
it might have cost him everything.
I mean, the scenario for his re-entry couldn't be better, because he's already beat DC. DC could stonewall him and say, "I don't feel like fighting now. Let him crawl like he made me crawl." And he goes, he wants to fight his way back in. Let him fight somebody else. I'm the champ now, right? So who does he fight? He fights Rumble. He fights Gustafsson. If he loses for Gustafsson, they got
to.
No. If he loses to Gustafsson, they've got a series. They have to fight a third. If he's already in fucking Rumble's head because Rumble is a depleted fighter after the DC fight, and he knows if I do beat John Jones, I got to fight DC again. I got nothing for him. And now he's opened the door into showing what his weak points are. I can't imagine John Jones is not going to capitalize on that. Outside of a minor league loss of money, which is temporary, this has worked out aces for John Jones. And I predict the same thing for Aldo. If McGregor wins, he's got
a huge if.
Yeah, there's always a huge if. It's always a huge if. This is
an especially huge if. We've never seen McGregor against a wrestler. Mendes, excellent wrestler.
I think who stands to lose the most here is McGregor.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say.
And I think that's why I'm going to give this as a win to Aldo. Sit at home with popcorn.
But a $4 million payday. That's what Dana White's claiming. He was going to make $4 million, and that's gone. Maybe if McGregor loses, this fight's not coming back around.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, if you think about that, then Mendes has got to fucking fight Aldo.
Nobody wants to see that. That's not going to be a $4 million payday.
However, this makes, if you're sitting there with your pen and your pad or your piece of paper, this makes the Don Corleone moment where somebody sits down with Mendes a really entertaining scenario,
the old let's keep this fight standing for fun, shits and giggles. And
there are a lot of people who like you, Chad.
I see. So we'll get to who we pick in that fight later. But let's run through the card. We've got two fights on Fight Pass. First up, lightweights, Yelstanius Cedeno versus Cody Pfister. Probably pronounced
Cody Pfister?
Cody Pfister.
I don't care.
No, I don't either. Sorry, guys. Flyweights, Neil Siri versus Louis Smolka.
I care.
I do care. Both these guys bring it in any way. So this should
I'm gonna pick Smolka.
You going with Smolka?
I'm gonna pick Smolka.
I'll pick Siri just to make it interesting.
All right, good.
And because I'm wearing kind of a British Isles cap here.
Oh,
I look like I could be eating fish and chips.
Those fucking pricks, that Irish prick on Darren Walsh. I stomped that guy into unconsciousness.
I know. Well, he gets so upset because the Irish have been exterminated and persecuted and genocided by the British. So, but
really? In his lifetime, huh?
Well, yeah, some in his lifetime, a little bit. They just got screwed by the EU.
Have you ever heard me whining at all in any way, shape, or form about slavery in America?
No.
Even though the ills of slavery have very clearly affected my life.
Now, this is a new claim, and I'm not disputing it. I'm just curious to hear. Elaborate. Do tell.
I mean, I'll give you a prime example. If you go to TechCrunch, they did an article on East Palo Alto and about how Asian families were not even allowed to buy houses in Palo Alto in the 70s. You know, people were like threatening, white folks were threatening to move. You know, if Eichler, the guy who built a lot of these houses that are so much mid-century modern, who is so in vogue, formed a lot of these homeowners associations in Eichlerville and Palo Alto, where he said, you know what, you're going to leave? Good, go leave. So they let Asians move in, but he, you know, the black folks were too far, so they created this community of East Palo Alto that was always intended to, I mean, at first it had been like a multicultural community, and they just destroyed it, you know, systematic redlining as evidence of, you know, of block busting. Federal laws were passed. They just ignored the federal laws. I mean, this is, you know, that's where I live, East Palo Alto.
I see.
You know?
I see. So you're
it's
saying
just not remote, but you don't hear me whining about it.
that's right. That's right. Well, interesting. And I think the guy went way over the line going after your daughters. That was,
you know, and I have to say, like a lot of like fans of Knuckle Up. Some of you guys have stopped me on the street. Some of the guys have been, because I got the standing offer. Anybody listens to this show, any fighter, you're always on the Oxbow guest list. So guys come up to me in Canada. 2 or 3 guys came up to me after the show. One guy got in. Muchi Mambo got in. So it's an offer that's good. Somebody in LA came, got in on the list. So I stand by it. I have to say that if Darren Walsh ever at any point comes up to me in Ireland, you know, it thinks, oh, Eugene, he's gotten over this, I'm just going to go up and say hi. You will be making a serious tactical error.
so don't be asking for a cash refund. How many of these guys come in after they pay for the show and want the cash refund?
No. Nobody. I don't have any crosswords after an Oxbow show, strangely enough.
I see. Well, dude, consider yourself warned. Unfortunate incident all around. And I have to attribute it to the frequent Irish mistake of running their mouths, which some might say Conor McGregor is guilty of. But anyway, we now are up to the preliminary card. Fox Sports 1, 4 fights, starting with bantamweight Cody Garbrandt and Henry Briones.
Don't care.
No, me neither. I can't even pronounce his name. Now welterweight John Doomsday Howard and Cathal Pendred.
I care.
Really?
Yeah.
Because these are 2 guys known for dull fights. This could be.
No. Howard has gotten a raw deal. It's like that. Wish me luck, Shamus. I got a raw deal. Your kind always does,
Seamus?
sweetheart. That's from Humphrey Bogart.
It's Seamus. Seamus for Irish for private dick, which never made any sense to me. Why?
Yeah, that's what she said. The Maltese Falcon.
Seamus. Okay, but go ahead.
That's what that was a line. Wish me luck, Seamus. I got a
but you said Shamus.
I don't remember what I said.
Go ahead.
We could roll the tape back if we had tape to roll. You know?
People will be doing it on YouTube.
Wish me luck, Seamus. I got a raw deal. Your kind always does. It could be a case of that. John Howard could be the guy who gets the raw deal because he deserves the raw deal. I don't know.
Yeah, well, some would say, but he's coming off a fairly brutal TKO loss to Lorenz Larkin not at all that long ago, only about 6 months ago. So, do you have a pick in the Pendred-Howard fight?
Man, I'm gonna have to double down on stupid. I'm gonna pick Howard.
I got to pick Howard too, just because I like it better than Pendred. Pendred really. Now that Ryan Jimmo's out of the UFC, Pendred is the most tedious fighter going. All right, so
Ryan Jimmo, also known as Cal Scalak.
He's an entertaining guy outside.
Actually, how about this? Try this on for size. Isn't it strange that Giblert gets popped right after, you know, kvetching about the Reebok deal? Kind of interesting.
Did he even kvetch? He just had his name. They misspelled his name on the T-shirt. I don't think he even said anything about that.
No, I heard that there was rumbling, complaining about the damn thing. You know, it's kind of interesting.
Very interesting. Well,
you know what that line? I don't know if you ever saw that movie, The Counselor. Did you see that?
The Counselor.
It was written by Cormac McCarthy with Michael Fassbender, Brad Pitt, Cameron Diaz.
When did this come out?
Yeah, exactly, man. Javier Bardem. It was a star-studded freaking cast last year, and it just came out and like whoosh, disappeared. But I just watched it, and there's a great line in it. They're talking about the narco.
We're talking about Ridley Scott.
Yeah, the narco death cartels. The guy says, you know, the cartels have heard of coincidence. They just don't believe in it.
I see. And this is the word. This looks like a good movie. I wonder if the cartels had it squelched.
It was like almost like The Departed, where you were pretty entertained with The Departed till the last 5 minutes. This was like this was kind of like that, except there was nothing to ruin it at the end, and it was just a super downbeat ending.
I like a downbeat ending, but
yeah,
and these movies that get bad reviews and flop this hard sometimes are the very best movies.
No, I super enjoyed it.
Cool. Well,
but
thanks for the rep.
I mean, it makes the same mistake that there's a reason why Cormac McCarthy has only had one good movie made from his books. You know?
Did you see The Road? Is that what you were referring to as not one of the good movies?
That was not one of the good ones.
Was that George Clooney?
All the Horses, The Road, they're ruined. They were terrible. No Country for Old Men was great. And my hope is James Franco now has the rights to Blood Meridian, and James Franco should not have the rights to Blood Meridian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't trust him with that one either. Yeah. Did you ever see?
I would feel okay if Clint Eastwood had it, but I
Clint Eastwood? That fascist. I've revisionist my way into not liking anything he ever did.
Really?
Yeah, everything he did, like Outlaw Josie Wells. Talk about Confederate propaganda bullshit. Written by a George Wallace speechwriter. Dirty Harry, like fascist police. You know, like
of course. Come on, that was part in the '70s. That was part of the charm, you know.
Yeah. But then it became the way of the land, and you know, it's ghastly. Anyway, moving on. Welterweights: Mike Swick and Alex Garcia.
What? Yeah, that's the first thing I said when Mike Swick, friend of Knuckle Up. Also, I'd like it known, as I do every time Mike Swick comes out, the time that he and I roll together, and I won.
You won. Well, aren't you like considerably larger than dude? Like 40 pounds bigger?
That doesn't matter.
Size doesn't matter?
Nor does it matter that he shot in on me for a double leg, hit his head on the mat, and knocked himself semi-unconscious. That also doesn't matter.
I see. Well, hurrah, Eugene. That is. I'm surprised you don't have a tattoo about that fight.
Actually, we're Eskimo brothered, and this is the first time I've mentioned that on air. And I'm sure he is probably distressed to hear me say that. Because now he's thinking, who, what, when, how. I was like, man, I'd rather not talk about it.
I see. How tastes my pee-pee? Again, another chapter.
Well, sadly, I followed him. So I don't want to talk about how tastes his pee-pee. Thank you.
I see. All right. So do you have a pick in a Swick Garcia bout?
I'm going to pick Swick. I got to go with the friend of
Got to go with Swick. Swick's.
And he's been in the wilderness for a long time, man. So
a lot of health issues.
This fight means a lot.
I don't know. I don't trust Swick at this point. Like, I don't know how healthy he is or unhealthy he is.
A lot of question marks.
Down at welterweight, used to fight at middleweight. I don't know. I gotta pick Garcia, but
no, you're crazy.
I don't feel.
Okay,
I feel right. But I'm just making things interesting.
Okay, no, I got you.
And I might pick the other way in the vivisection just so I can do some Eugene style crowing on the 6th round show on Saturday. You can't lose if you pick both sides in the fight.
Sad.
Yes, it is. You taught me.
Your inability to move beyond my greatness. I don't know.
All right. Welterweights, Matt Brown and Tim Means.
Yes, big care.
Yes, very big care. And do you have a pick?
It's tough, man. I mean, Matt's battling back into significance, right?
Yep.
Well, it's more than significance. I think he's got to get his head right. I think, and Tim Means is not an easy. This is not going to be a cake of walk off.
A tough guy on a 4-fight win streak.
No. I'm going to have to go with Matt.
Yeah, I got to go with Matt Brown, too. We haven't seen Tim Means against this level of competition.
Yeah.
And Matt Brown is just as mean as they come. Ask his former jiu-jitsu coach.
Hey, that was watched out and he was paid and found to be exonerated is the word I'm looking for.
They closed the case and then reopened it was the last I heard. So,
really?
Yeah, but it's all a cloud. It's all.
You guys, if you're an MMA fighter, you got to take a page from the book of Frank Sinatra.
throw the lady through the glass door and almost sever her arm off? Is that what you're referring to?
And then duke her.
I see. Duke her. What exactly is that?
That means you throw a couple $100 bills at her and go, take care of yourself.
I see. And
Clean yourself up.
Where does the Duke come from?
I don't know. It's just it's an old expression.
It's a term for hurt somebody and pay them off.
No. It just means slipping somebody some money.
Ah, I see.
I didn't think that shit worked. I was in Vegas with some some guys, and there's a lot.
Brothers?
What's that?
Were these Eskimo brothers or?
No, these weren't Eskimo brothers. These are the cats with
I see.
with influence, and they're like, well, let's go over to the Bellagio. I go, all right, how are we gonna get there? It's kind of a walk. He goes, we'll catch a cab. I go, I'm not fucking waiting on that line. And they just look at me like, and he walks up to the guy at the front of the line and he leans in to talk to the guy. And the guy goes, oh, calls a cab. I go, what the fuck? And then I see the guy who blows the whistle. I see him go like this into his breast pocket. I was like, Jesus Christ. I go, how much did you duke that guy? He goes, 20. I go, 20. That's pretty fucking reasonable. I'd pay 20 in this line. But he was just, it's expected. I'm thinking, oh, like a dummy, I'm going to get on the line.
Yep, like a square schmuck. This is exactly the kind of people Henry Hill had contempt for.
Exactly. You're going to stand on line. No, sorry.
Yeah. All right, so I have no idea at this point what that has to do with Matt Brown. Oh, yes, I remember now. The jiu-jitsu coach. It's all...
Yep, tied up. Duke him. Duke that guy, beat him up, duke him.
I see. That's wise words. I've got a story about Sly Stone and his entourage getting in a fight with Three Dog Night that I just read.
Who won?
Well, as the bodyguard of Sly Stone, as he described it, was like, talking about what a crazy night it was, and this was like Sly smoking PCP and insisting on going to this stupid party, and then we ended up getting in a fight with Three Dog Night. Okay, we beat Three Dog Night. We Three Dog Night is gonna give Sly Stone and his gangster entourage any trouble at all, but anyway. All right. Yeah. I just get a picture of flared pants and sideburns like flying through the air.
Well, I don't know. It's always interesting when you get bouncers involved because then it's like robot wars. Who can afford the best robot?
Well, I'm sure if the Dog Night guys had prepared and hired goons and everything, maybe they could have got some good goons.
You know what I found out when I did the Brotherhood. It's interesting. The Brotherhood of Bouncers, of which I'm a member, it trumped other things. Like I've been at shows and shit goes crazy. Like when we played Spiro's in Austin, and the club owner, usually it's like now the club owner against the band, but he says to the bouncers, you get those guys off stage, but the bouncers were like, they recognized that there was a fucking brotherhood here of,
fellow goon.
It was like goon to goon. It's like they don't want to fucking take me off stage, and I don't want to hit them either, because it's like these are, I've done the job. These are brothers. I'm not gonna don't want to be at the behest of a club owner or for the audience. So it was a real interesting standoff. We both felt more aligned than the prick club owner who got busted for cocaine dealing apparently later.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yes, I can't remember how the trial came out, but they got busted in a big way. So we might not allegedly might not even be necessary. So Spiros is unloved and unmourned.
Exactly. So,
but moving on to the main card, now we're in pay-per-view territory. Bantamweight Brad Pickett and Thomas Almeida.
I care.
Definitely care. How much would you pay for it?
No. $5.
$5.
Yeah.
You don't think this is a full $11 pay-per-view fight?
No, I don't care.
Because Pickett's a shot fighter?
Yeah.
So you're picking Almeida?
I am picking Almeida.
Yeah, by savage violence?
Yep, savage violence.
Yeah.
That sounds like the name of a new show, man.
That could be a new show, Savage Violence. All right.
By Savage Violence. Yeah, I gotta get the full title.
By Savage. I like that. By Savage Violence. All right. Welterweights, Gunnar Nelson and Brandon Thatch, another karateka.
Okay, now I'm paying $11.
Okay, because
I want to see if Gunnar makes it back.
I see if he can turn it around.
If he can turn it around, man.
Brandon Thatch's a pretty tough customer.
Yeah.
But he's I don't know. He's coming off a loss to I don't know. I got to go with Brandon Thatch. I think he's just got stylistic edge over Gunnar. I'm
picking Gunnar.
You're picking Gunnar, huh? I just insisted on making it interesting, are you?
Yeah, I just think that he was, it's like the Ant word. You smell that, and you smell that. I think he was so close to the smell of what he smelled when he got that close is enough to revivify a Gunnar Nelson.
Oh, see, and got that close to what exactly? Because it's not like he was in title contention.
Oh man, he was up in that Eric Silva zone where he was being.
Hype was.
The hype, the coronation,
Yeah. He was headlining the cards, so and undefeated. So yeah, I can see where that would be a heady brew. All right, moving on. Featherweights: Dennis Bermudez and Jeremy Stevens.
Yes.
Definitely care. How much would you pay, and who would you pick?
Oh fuck! I'm only paying $7 for this one.
$7. Now you're making the math difficult. So we got 11, 7, and 5. That's 33.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
11, 7, and 5.
Huh?
That's 33. What's the matter with you?
7 and 5 is 12. Plus 11 is 23.
Yes.
Just like I said.
You said 33.
Well, we're gonna get into who said what.
We're not gonna start quibbling over things I said in the past, are we? Youthful indiscretions.
Now, one thing I learned early in my corporate career was never get your math wrong on the bottom line in a proposal.
Yeah.
That people will zoom in on that shit so fast you won't believe it.
And I still am super excited. Somehow I got to thinking when you were talking about that in a public presentation about the mayor of Porto.
The mayor of Porto?
Porto, Portugal.
Portugal.
He apparently has taken several $1 million or reals or whatever the unit is, or euro, I don't know.
Euros, yeah.
And to reclaim a waterway, and he goes, this waterway is perfectly safe. And they're like, oh yeah? He's like, yes, look. And he takes, on his podium, he's got a glass of water, he throws out the water, and he dips down to the river and takes a glass of water and goes, see? And he goes to drink it, and his aides are like, and he's like, drinks it. And then about 10 more minutes into the press conference, he's like, and he passes out. They have to take him by ambulance to the freaking hospital. I love that, man. I love that. That guy, you got to gamble big, man. He took a fucking gamble, and it was like, you got to love him for taking that. Like,
He grifted the millions of dollars that were supposed to be spent on cleaning it up.
Yeah, well, then I guess the questions remain after that.
I see. Did you hear about the Texan who saw the sign that said "Beware of alligator" and said, "Fuck that alligator"?
That's my new fucking meme, man. For a highly inadvisable action that is taken anyway. Fuck that alligator.
Yeah, he jumped in and was immediately eaten and killed.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Held down, popped up struggling, dragged back down, came up dead.
I think there was some criminal negligence involved because how did they not get video of this? That's what I want to know.
You're right. You're right. I to make my day complete. I've been having a crappy week, but I tell you, when I heard that story, and the guy who died from setting the fireworks off on his head.
On his head. Although that one I kind of ruined because I went and I read the local paper account of it. And there were so many testimonials about what a sweet, beloved guy he was that it took some of the fun out of it. They said he was just joking around and the lighter got too close to the fuse, that he wasn't actually trying to set him off on his head. But, yeah, that was a pretty epic self-ponage, though.
See, I didn't read the local press. But
yeah, stay away from the details. And I'm sure even the redneck guy who who every T-shirt I saw, he had one T-shirt that said "Need more beer," and his Facebook page described him as a beer enthusiast.
All right. Hold on. If ever I should meet with a bad end, please do not let them describe me as a beer enthusiast.
A Scotch single malt enthusiast. Wouldn't that be more your style?
No. I've been drinking more Scotch and whiskey these days, but that's because that's what we have at practice.
I see.
Actually, the fact that we have whiskey and Scotch at practice is an interesting story, because the guy who gifted us all of this expensive whiskey just lost $500,000.
In how?
Somebody said, "Hey, have you seen Caesar lately?" And the guy said, "Yeah, he's on the floor of my kitchen." Apparently, he had run up a $175,000 investment to about $575,000 on the Chinese stock market.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
And that he has now lost everything. So he started to systematically drink his way through his collection until he passed out on the floor.
So he lost everything on that one investment, or he had everything invested in the Chinese stock market?
He had everything invested in the Chinese stock market. But I think he only had one or two.
Fuck that alligator. That's what he was.
Yeah, exactly. He only had one or two holdings. So when he came to, he was like, "I cannot have this around me," and he gave us all of his Scotch whiskey.
Oh, well.
So typically our practices, Oxbow practices, we have a nice little, so.
I see. Very interesting. I'd always imagined Oxbow is more of an academic sort of environment, more scholarly sort of.
It is. I mean, it's not, we're not 21, so we're not drinking like, but, you like a nice glass, you sip
Is this like Johnny Walker Blue Label or something? Or?
No, this is good. He had good stuff. He had better stuff than that.
Blue Label is good stuff. It's extremely expensive.
Well, he's got boutique stuff.
I see. Very fancy.
Names I can't pronounce.
But
I'm sure Darren Walsh would know.
The Irish don't pronounce the Scottish names right. Come on. Don't be conflating the Irish and the Scottish.
Yeah, you're right.
The Irish talk shit. The Scottish don't talk shit. And
and he's like, "Well, I was just trying to piss you off." I said, "You didn't piss me off. It's just you're just so fucking stupid." I don't mind ignorance. Ignorance is fine. Stupidity is like you cross the line. If you want to fight me, there are easier ways to do that than insulting my offspring.
I see. And cursing your offspring, even.
Yes. Right.
All right. So, although in a not terribly horrible way, I mean, just a nuisance.
Hey.
To deal with.
Hey, anybody talking about your daughter and yeast infections?
Well, I'm just saying, like she's probably gonna get yeast. It's like wishing, toe jam on somebody. It happens.
Yeah.
I hope your offspring get the hemorrhoids. I mean, they're probably gonna get hemorrhoids anyway.
You remember that time I was threatening to beat Dwayne Dennison half to death?
Dwayne Dennison of Jesus Lizard? Why would this is news? When did this happen?
Oh, you missed this whole story. I mean, he and I are friends now, So, but at the first time we played a show with them. With Jesus Lizard, I met these guys. They seemed like nice guys. We, always liked the band. And a friend of mine who was a musician in England went to see them play. And I go, "Oh, these guys are great guys. Tell them I said hello." So she goes to the after party and she goes, "Hey, do you know Eugene from Oxbow?" And he was like, "What? That super contrived guy?"
Contrived guy. I like it.
She looks at him and goes, "He just wanted me to tell you hello." And he goes, "Oh, dude, don't tell him I said that. And so, of course, she naturally tells me that what he said. And I'm like, "Oh, I see. So we're going back to high school. You know what? Great. Next time I see him, I'm going to slap his fucking face right off." And so, I forget all about this until we're at the Door Festival in Brussels, and our roadie starts acting weird. I'm like, "The fuck are you doing? What are you acting?" And then I see Dennison, and I'm like, "Yeah, now's the time."
He's not a big guy.
He's taller than I am, but he's skinny.
Pretty skinny.
That's not the point. That's not the point. If he was fucking from the Booyah clan, I would have done the same thing. What you wanna? I might have gotten beaten for my trouble, but that's happened plenty of times before. So, you know.
I like super contrived though. I think that's a pretty apt description.
Well, then later he explained to me that he had just read a review. We had gotten a really positive review in Wire, and he goes, Tomahawk could never get a good review in Wire, and he just got angry and frustrated. You know. I was like, huh, really? I tell you what. I'll trade you critical acclaim for record sales. And he was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Even jokingly, he wouldn't concede it's better to have critical acclaim than record sales.
Yes, indeed. So he had sort of a critical acclaim version of penis envy towards you.
Correct.
Yes. Well,
like, how come Oxbow could do no wrong, we could do no right? And from my point of view, I'm going, how come Tomahawk sells tons of records and we can't sell a fucking nickel, you know?
Huh. Is Tomahawk, I don't even know Tomahawk. This is one of his posts.
It's his side project with Mike Patton.
Oh, God, I hate Mike Patton. That's why
Mike Patton, always one of those guys, always nice to me.
I have nothing personal against him. I just hate his music, everything I've ever heard. And you know, so that's why I've assiduously ignored Tomahawk. Although, Dwayne Dennison's I loved him in Jesus Lizard and enjoyed him with Hank Williams III. While he was that was, but I did not care for Cargo Cult, his pre-Jesus Lizard band. So
I don't
him plus Mike Patton.
I have a vague memory of this.
Yeah, they you know. Anyway, the songwriting in Jesus Lizard did not come from Dwayne Dennison. That's my.
I don't know about that.
Well, I think he contributed because in Scratch Acid they always hated the guitar player because he would slow down their songwriting, and I think Dwayne could keep up, but I don't think. I think the Bones.
We played with Scratch Acid too. That was an alright show.
When with Whipping Boy or
no. This is like
Oxbow? And the comeback.
Yeah, the comeback.
Scratch Acid reunion.
3 years ago up in Seattle. So.
Oh, that was exciting. But we need to move along. Did we pick Bermudez versus Stevens featherweights? Dennis Bermudez, Jeremy Stevens. And this is where we got derailed because of my math.
Yeah. We said we cared, and
$7 on your end.
I was gonna pick Stevens again, even though I think that's probably inadvisable.
They're both on losing streaks, or at least Bermudez lost his last fight. Stevens is on a streak. I'm gonna pick Bermudez just to make things interesting, and I need to give my totals. So far, I'd pay. I think I agree with your $5 pick on the Pickett Almeida fight. $11 for Nelson Thatch. I think $7 is a pretty good pick for Bermudez and Stevens.
I told you.
Yeah.
This is right.
No gloating, Mr. Contrived.
Well, I'm not gloating yet. Mr. Contrived. That just becomes my name. Okay. All right. I'll take that.
That super contrived guy. That's
it's like you become my Drax the Destroyer. It's like Steffi is like, oh, Eugene, you're a psychopath. Look at you.
I'm just trying to help you because you're in recovery from clinical narcissism, Eugene.
That's what my ex-mother-in-law, just as she said, oh, clearly you are a narcissistic personality disorder.
It's a fairly obvious diagnosis. I'm not besmirching her credentials, but
yeah, you know what? Coming from a clinical narcissist, you know.
I'm not a clinical. I'm not clinical.
Clinical. What do you mean clinical? I got it.
Yeah. All right, so we're in the hole for money on this card, so it's not heading for $55 yet. But now we've got the welterweight title fight: Robbie Lawler rematching Rory McDonald. Care?
Big care.
Big care, obviously. How much would you pay for it?
I'd pay all the rest.
All the rest just for this fight, and then you still have McGregor fighting.
Oh yeah. I'll split the difference between them because they're both significant to me.
Okay. So, who are you picking, Lawler or McDonald?
I'm friend of knuckle up, Robbie Lawler all the way.
Let's see, a little jingoism because he's American.
No, I don't trust McDonald, man. He had some weird doldrum period that was never adequately explained to me. Then he made some claim of how he's revived and he's back and okay.
Like the new Vitor. And
I don't know if I want to believe it. I don't know that I should believe it. I don't know how I could believe it.
I think TriStar jacked him. I think they turned him boring.
Okay.
Because remember what a killer he was when he was young?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but he's got to bear some responsibility for that.
I don't know. I think stylistically, he gives Lawler fits. Like in that first fight, I felt a lot of McDonald losing was because he wasn't pulling the trigger and being aggressive enough.
Okay.
But some of it is Lawler's got excellent striking technique.
So,
I don't know. Who are you picking?
I just said Lawler, man.
You're picking Lawler.
I got it on my little tote. I got it on my tote sheet.
Let's see. Writing things down also cheating. So you're picking McDonald. So
No, I just said Lawler. You would not Jedi mind trick me into go on McDonald. I don't trust him, and I'm going to go for the older fighter no matter what. So.
I see. Ageism rears its ugly head once again. I got to go with Lawler too. I just, yeah. I think McDonald could do it, but I just haven't seen it. All right, and so now the big one, the not quite as big as they had hoped. Although I noticed Time Warner Cable last night was still advertising Aldo versus McGregor. Just don't give a shit. Just selling wolf tickets. All right, so McGregor versus Chad Mendes for the interim featherweight title. First up, what do you think of this interim featherweight title business?
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I agree with Aldo. This is bullshit.
All right, so Mendes
but
versus McGregor.
I think they learned the lesson from Verdum Velasquez. And the lesson they learned from Verdum Velasquez is that to unify, calling it stuff like unifying champions, 2 belts on the line, all that stuff. It sounds all right.
I see, and because they know that there's a high likelihood they're going to be selling Mendes versus Aldo 3.
Yeah,
when Mendes has lost twice already.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I'm having a hard time seeing. I'm having a hard time seeing Aldo make it past Mendes. I'm sorry.
You mean McGregor make it past
I'm sorry.
Mendes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Because we've seen Aldo get well past Mendes.
Yeah, twice.
Yes.
The first time was really nice.
Yeah, but the second one was a tough scrap, and Mendes is getting better and better. And also, there are rumors that McGregor's got a hurt knee. So, even worse. Although, I think the short training camp Mendes came in on, maybe.
Yeah, but also McGregor completely probably didn't plan for a guy who could take him down. I don't see that was part of something that he was planning at all.
No. Although there was some footage controversially removed from one of the embedded episodes of McGregor working takedown defense. And the UFC put it up and then took it down. So, I don't know. I got to pick Mendes too. I just have it. As much as I enjoy sad Irish people, I have a sad thinking about McGregor getting laid and prayed for 5 rounds, which is the obvious outcome.
You got to lay out his problem for 5 rounds. Hey, homie. Hey, you know this guy Kaz. Probably I can't pronounce his last name. He just goes by Kaz. He used to do had a couple of stuff Underworld at Fantagraphics. And now he's actually working for SpongeBob SquarePants,
Yeah.
He's an artist, an animator, and he's got this character called Creep Rat. And Creep Rat and Snuzzle, he's got it's like a kind of it's a whole Mickey Mouse, it's like the underworld for Mickey Mouse. And he has Creep Rat selling to Snuzzle, the big kind of Bluto-like thug. Hey, I got some wolf tickets for you. And I was like, don't be scared, homie. And I was like, he's got tons of fans because of Square Bob's, and the people are like laughing. They go, oh, that's funny. I want a wolf ticket. But not knowing, the provenance of
Do you think that's a Diaz coinage, wolf tickets?
Yes.
He didn't get it from somewhere. That's not Stockton lingo, or
yeah, that's just not even Stockton. That's out of the mind of Nick.
I see. Well, it was a good one. And I think it's Kaz, not Chaz.
I said Kaz.
You said Chaz. Again with the U and the picking Roy McDonald.
Nah, it's you who's doing that, Mr. 33. 23, is it 33? Is it 33? Is it 23?
Oh, dark days.
Dr. Howard. All right.
Yes, so, well, have we covered everything? We got 5 whole extra minutes. Like,
Yeah, but I got to go take a shower and get to work before I get fired.
I see. So keep it clean, Eugene. Keep it clean.
Yeah, the
That's my
prison of
advice for you.
measured time. The things we give away in order to work are never returned. Strike, strike, strike. Yeah.
Well said. Well said. So remember, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube.
Here's
That's
my
the
thumbs up.
thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter at KidNate, at Eugene S. Robinson. Read me on BloodyElbow.com. Read Eugene at Aussie.com. Sometimes Vice's Fightland. You got a sex column coming up this week, Eugene?
I got a sex column in there today.
Are you recommending sex clubs again?
That's what somebody's mother said.
Because my
You
wife
just
has
always-
noticed like 5 times you've recommended sex clubs as the solution to the problem.
Hey, I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to get them healthy again. And when I show up, I also like getting it for free.
I see. I see. Well,
Oh, it's that guy again. Let him in for free.
I see. Well, you know, AIDS shut him down, but sex clubs are crawling back.
Yeah, there you go.
Behind him all the way.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
yes. I think I got all my plugs. Anything else I need to do? Adios,
Yes.
MMA aficionados. That's the only
We'll
thing.
see you next week, man.
All right. Thanks, Eugene.
All right, Nate. Later.
All right.
Bye.